Capricorn, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Capricorn collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Cappies in early June, please? It's Gemini season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Capricorn. Early June, what's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick, my good friends. Yeah, oh, almost. There we go. All right, nice, balance, Libra-like energy. I saw this for a few signs last week, and I usually do like this. It's a card that has a lot of duality, but obviously you could see all that Libra-like symbolism showing up here. It's very reminiscent of the Two of Pentacles, which could be very good. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as mentioned, tons of Libra symbolism. We actually have the literal sign for Libra right here. So if you're not connected to one, what's something we think about when we think of the zodiac sign of Libra? The scales, balanced, very similar to Lady Justice and the Two of Pentacles. So we have this dude standing here. He has the yin yang kind of balancing these two discs. So it's like a balancing act. Now, in the best case scenario, this is a card with a lot of harmony, things starting to calm down. So if the waters have been a little rocky lately, this is good because it's like, all right, we're starting to smooth out. Again, I did speak about duality, like up, down, back, forth, masculine, feminine, dark, light. So there could be a lot of situations where there's like a nice big silver lining, but a downside. That's something to watch out for as well. But aside from that, this is pretty good and harmonious. So maybe there's a nice energy coming in, even if we get some choppiness within the tarot spread. Now, one thing I always say about Two of Pentacles like energy, it could also be very busy, busy, busy. So like it's someone literally balancing and juggling. So if you got a lot on your mind, a lot on your plate, if your brain's in a lot of different places, it can feel like a balancing act here, but I just love how the energy seems to move forward. So we're just going to let him chill right there. We don't want to throw him off balance. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Capricorn. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. Yeah, there was a little bit of energetic clunkiness last week. The reading was titled The Difficult Situation. Now, that's always on a scale. Sometimes difficult is in the eye of the beholder, right? Sometimes it could be just a little bit of annoyance. Sometimes it could be something major. I'm hoping I was wrong. I'm hoping you didn't have any difficulties, but just watch. Even moving forward for the next couple of weeks, there could be certain things pop up where it's like, oh, this energy's a little sticky. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Capricorn to start. What's happening in early June, please? Let's get these cards out. Thank you. Cool. 3 cups. It's good. That is definitely a good start. Let's get our little Libra pal out of here and get these guys tucked in by the amethyst. So that's a pretty nice card if kept in balance. All right, let's get a couple more here. What do we got for not Libra? What do we have for Capricorn? Cool. Lots of water. That actually works very, very well with you. And get that Knight of Cups chilling right there. Let's get one more out here. So far, I am pretty optimistic. There's a ton of water energy with the High Priestess right here on the back end, but this could actually be really, really nice. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like it's very important. It helps us analyze and frame the reading, see how the energy flows. And this week you do have, in the main part, all one element. It's water, water everywhere. Right now, I do say when there's all one element, that can cause it to be a little lopsided. But luckily, since you're an earth sign, this all plays very well with earth sign placements, right? Now, when it comes to water, that's the emotional realm. That's the inner self, matters of the heart. It can represent things, people, situations that we're emotionally invested in, things that we care about. I love it for its artistic creativity, its expressiveness. It's great for any sort of creative pursuit, whether it's like writing or doing art or just any form of getting energy outward is really favored here. Um, it can be super imaginative, and another thing with water energy, it's very ethereal, and it could speak about dream states and intuition. So if you're energetically sensitive, that could be heightened with all this water. Now the only downside to the water energy is that sometimes it could be a little overwhelming, right? Water waxes and wanes, just like we were saying with the duality with that first card. So that's something to watch out for, because there might be some ups and downs. But I will say, looking at these cards, they're all leaning pretty positive, at least initially. Let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with a beautiful card. We have the Three of Cups. Now, I do know this card, it gets a bit of a bad reputation. Some people see it and they're like, third party this, third party that. And of course, it can mean that. All threes can mean that. But to me, I think of joyousness, happiness, merriment, people having a good time. What are these people doing? They're raising a toast. So it's enjoying yourself, letting loose. So whether it's recreational, whether it's social, this energy is nice because it's lighthearted, it's optimistic, and they're celebrating something. So a lot of times when I get the Three of Cups, it could absolutely represent a win or a victory of some kind. So that's good. Um, when we get to the downside, this energy can over enjoy itself. So again, watch out for pleasures of the flesh and stuff like that, because this energy likes to party it up. And of course, watch group things, group situations. This could represent the energy of someone that's in your circle that we want to look at. But on its baseline level, this is a very optimistic, win based type of energy. So I do like it. Look, they're social, they're chatting it up, they're raising a toast. So we like it. As long as it's not excessive, that's the one thing. Now, moving to the middle, we have similar vein of energy, not exactly the same, but we get this Three of Cups right back here, and we move on to our good pal, the Knight of Cups himself. Now, out of all the knights, this one is my absolute favorite. And I always say, when it comes to the knights, to me, they represent action and communication. This could just be a water sign you're connected to, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But the Knight of Swords is so super fast. The Knight of Pentacles could be a little slow. The Knight of Wands could be a little wild. This one is just right. It's moving at a nice pace. There's no rush, not too slow, not too fast. Nice balanced approach. Now, when it comes to a person's personality type, this is a smooth talker, Prince Charming, someone that could talk the bark off a tree. So I do like the Knight of Cups. It's very poetic and nice. Prince Charming archetype. So we like him. But the downside to this energy, sometimes it can clam up. Sometimes it's an energy that can push things down emotionally or play off of people's emotions. So that's something we need to watch out for with the Knight of Cups. Again, it could just be a conversation or a talk of some kind or an action, especially with the messages that this guy likes to deliver. So we'll see. I mean, going from here, the energy looks good. It's like lighthearted and celebratory. So I like it. It's definitely a nice change from what we saw last week. Now, moving to the back end, we have the beautiful High Priestess herself. This is classically a Pisces card, but I like to give her to all the water signs. So you see the theme we have here, like the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, just water, water everywhere. Now, she is the matron of psychics, intuitives, and tarot readers. She does represent acquiring knowledge. There's a lot of inward facing energy with the High Priestess. She does go in a lot, but she also knows a lot of things. Notice she always has this sacred volume of the law in her lap. She is between the dark and light pillars, that place of balance, very similar to what we saw in the Oracle. So I love the balanced approach, the balanced energy. Now, for some of you, that could be an advice, or not too fast, not too slow. But again, I still have this theme of energy starting to iron out, which could be great, even if you're cross watching. Now, when it comes to the High Priestess, she can represent energetic sensitivity. She can represent the unknown. If you are sensitive to energy, just know it could be heightened. You might need to ground yourself down a little bit when she is here. The only downside to her is that sometimes she could represent secrecy, the unknown, because she knows a lot, but she's being very hush hush about it. So I'm not sure if it's you keeping something under wraps or somebody else. That's very possible with her. Or she could just represent the unknown, something that's coming your way that you don't quite see, which doesn't have to be a bad thing. So we have a nice, interesting layout here so far. I want to dive deeper on all the Capricorn. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation. I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Three of Cups. And yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Capricorn, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Three of Cups here for our good friends? Let's get it going. Hopefully it's a good one. Thank you. Yeah, I do like this quite a bit. So we have the Five of Cups in reverse. We do have this strong watery current still showing up. So cups, cups everywhere. But notice the River of Tears card is showing up in reverse. So either something that's been bothering me for a long time doesn't bother me as much. This could be advice for some of you where like Spirit's like, hey, Capricorn, maybe do something that you enjoy. Now, I know that's easier said than done sometimes. Life could get a little hectic. Sometimes you might not have the energy to do certain things. In the upright, this card is very down. And just like any difficult situations, this card, it could be on a spectrum. So again, it could just be a little gloomy. It could also be brokenhearted. But when it shows up in reverse under a very happy, joyous type of energy right in the front, it's like I'm having a turnaround. So, do I already see a win? Absolutely. This is an energy of turning that frown upside down. So, if there's any specific things or situations that are really bugging you or that are on the forefront of your mind, boom, this energy could be a big turnaround or change in that. So, we do have a big win already, and we're just here in the first part. Now, there is this thing about like making time to enjoy yourself or pamper yourself. So self-love, self-care, hyper important in this time. But I just love the fact that right here in the front, we're turning the frown upside down, which is great. So any issue, any problem, not saying it's completely gone, but there's actually improvement and energy moving forward. So that's a good start. So we're going to keep going. Yeah, because if this Five of Cups was in the upright, I'd be like, oh, this is someone doing some numbing, or this is someone just trying to gloss over something. It doesn't necessarily feel like that. The energy seems to be lightening up, especially with this in reverse. All right, let's go in on the Knight of Cups. Let's see what he has. Because this could be the conversation, message, news, whatever. So why is that Knight of Cups here for the Capricorns? I really want to get to the High Priestess. That's the little quiet energy on the back. Okay. This is interesting to me. And again, more water. So 5 of the 6 cards we're going to pull today are water energy. Moon is very similar to the High Priestess over here. Notice that it's in reverse underneath it. I actually like this. Now, this could be like revelation or realization type of energy where like information is revealed to you. I could absolutely see this being like an unexpected or a surprising talk. So whether it's with a person you weren't expecting to talk to, a topic you weren't expecting to talk about, there could be a whole variety of different conversations and topics where it's like, okay, I didn't see this one coming, but I don't necessarily dislike it. I feel like it can be really good. Now, again, the moon in the upright, so Pisces, Cancer, so you get what I'm saying. It's very subtle, very soft, very hush hush, very quiet, similar to her. It's very much energetically in tune. So there could be a lot of things that you might feel coming before they do. So just know, especially if you're energetically sensitive, it's like I feel something coming before it actually does. Now, when it shows up in reverse, all that secrecy or that hidden energy seems to dissipate. So when I see it underneath this Knight of Cups, yeah, absolutely unexpected, surprising talk or message. And it could be multiple here. So I like the way the energy's moving. The only thing to really watch out for with just the vast amount of water is like the emotional ups and downs. But I don't even feel like that's a major thing just yet. So we're just going to put this moon down right here, the moon in reverse. If this was a fire sign reading, then I'd be a little more concerned, right? Like if this was like an air sign or a fire sign reading, I'd be like, all right, this is a little too much water. But since you're an earth sign, this energy really does play well off of earth sign placements. We're going to keep moving. Let's see what the High Priestess has. Let's see if we have any more insight on what this quiet energy or this unexpected energy is. And we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the lovely High Priestess here? Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Energy that seems to pop back up, but again, I don't dislike it. More water. So from front to back, all 6 cards are of the water element. So again, that's just something to watch out for. Now, death in reverse, Scorpio. Okay. Now, usually death can represent the close of the cycle, remaking something, big change. It's a very karmic energy. I always say don't get too freaked out about it. It can sometimes represent endings. But the fact that it's in reverse underneath this High Priestess is an energy that's popping back up. So whether you are taking trips down memory lane, I've seen a couple signs this week where it's like I have one foot in the past, one foot in the future. So maybe that's the duality we've been seeing all along the way, where it's like I'm looking to the future, but I also have a foot in the past. I'm not sure what this balancing act can be about, but I still love the way it's moving. So the only warning here through the major part of the reading is just, yeah, watch the ups and downs emotionally. But I feel like overall it moves in your benefit, which is really good. But the death card in reverse is an energy that loops back, returns. So what I was saying about one foot in the past. So don't be surprised if situations that you once dealt with are dealt with again, or we're digging up the past, or something or someone possibly returns, especially under the high priestess. It's like, oh, I feel this energy looping back. So you might actually feel it in the ether, but similar to the mystery, this is like an unexpected or surprising return. And could it be linked in with this? Absolutely. But I don't dislike it. I feel like it's optimistic to me. So just know in this time, there could be a lot of touch and base on old things, old topics, old situations, or things popping back up. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So a total abundance of water energy here for you this week. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have 3 of Cups, 5 of Cups in reverse. We're turning that frown upside down. This could be spirit saying like, hey, do something you enjoy, whether it's a hobby, whether it's going for a walk, whatever it is. Just make some time for yourself, self-love, self-care. But this is already a win because it's turning a difficult situation into a positive somehow. So there could be something that's been bugging you that doesn't bug you as much, or at least there's resolution in sight. Moving to the center, we have the Knight of Cups with the Moon in reverse. There could be a whole variety of like unexpected talks or conversations popping up in this time, which makes sense, especially with what we have coming up here. But I like where it's going. I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. In the end, I feel like the energy plays in your favor, especially when we move back here. We have the high priestess, death in reverse. Some of you might have one foot in the past, one foot in the present, or one past, one future, depending. But to me, this could be an unexpected or surprising return. So you see what we have, this very similar theme on the back end. And again, my only concern potentially is some emotional ups and downs, but I feel like it's much more up than it is down. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. All right, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this going here. What's in the shadows for the Cappies? What is in the shadows for the Cappies? Okay. I was wondering if there was going to be more water. Now, we do have the 6 of Swords, and there is water in the card, but it's technically air element. Now, what's a big theme with this? And I'm going to give you the shadow side of it as well, but I just need to highlight the positive of the 6 of Swords. It could be distance, it could be travel if you're planning a trip, but the big thing with the 6 of Swords is that it's moving forward. It's coming out of choppy waters into calm. So even if you are dealing with certain things where it's like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to resolve this, or even if you're in the choppy water still, from what we've been seeing in the main part of the spread, and even in the shadows, it's like this energy is evening itself out or coming into a state of balance. It's been a very consistent theme throughout this whole reading this week. But the downside to the 6 of Swords, sometimes this energy could run away. Right? Sometimes it's an energy where it's like, I don't feel like doing that right now. Oh, I'll handle that later. So watch that there's not an urge to kick the can down the road with certain things, because that could be very possible. The 6 of Swords in its shadow side could sometimes represent abandonment issues too. I know that's something totally different, but just watch out for any of those types of feelings coming up when this shows here. So we're going to put that down right there, my beautiful friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be 3, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.